And we have a funding... Oh, yeah, but docks. Ooh. 10% discount, you say? A major British shipyard short on orders is offering to build another unit of the Oklahoma class in 22 months at a 10% discount. Do we want that? I think... Okay, the only issue is if we go to war with Britain, they will just steal all the ships we're building in the shipyards. But if we go to war with Britain, we're going to die anyway, so I would rather not. Or I would rather just try to build it and see what happens. Good grief. Okay. I don't really want a war with Russia either. I'm pretty sure if I pick this option, it will just cause a war immediately, even though I would like budget. But can I view Almanac? Okay, their battleship fleet is hugely superior. No surprise, really. How superior is their cruiser fleet? Because they can't really base their battleships anywhere that will actually threaten us. Also, these battleships are... Out of all the world's battleships, these are not actually very much better than ours. They're marginally faster, but actually less armored. Like, really thin armor for a battleship, so... They do have a lot of these, which are much better than our armored cruisers, I would say. Oof, and they have a lot of these, which are really very nice light cruisers. I would rather not fight Russia. They have so many ships. Well, that's kind of on the brink there, but random events will usually cause that to go down if we don't really have a reason to fight Russia. Okay. Again, Southern Korea, internal upheaval. This should only raise tensions with Japan, right? I feel like it could raise tensions with Russia, too. I'm going to not risk anything. Okay, Japan is taking control of Southern Korea. Well, maybe we'll take it from them in a future war. Nothing dramatic here. Oh, good. Tension has... Okay, well, this is weird. I don't know... All of these nations, tension reduced because they are not as strong as we are and do not want war with us. They are definitively stronger than we are. But, I'll assume maybe they meant the opposite when they wrote that. I'm not sure. If our budget is taking a bit of a hit, probably because we backed down there. Politicians get pissy about that kind of thing. Communications lag. They're in the North American East Coast. Why is there a lag of a month? The telegraph exists. We just have to telegraph up to Brooklyn Navy Yard or down to Newport News or something and tell them to get moving. Whatever. Or where even are they now? I don't actually see them listed any there. Oh god, they are going the long way around. So this little thing lied to me. We do have to go all the way around South America, which is what I thought, but wondered if maybe they hadn't represented it in game. Apparently they have. We're going to need to pause oh, that's why our budget's so bad, because I agreed to build a third one of these. Yeah, we're going to have to pause that. We can't actually afford it. I just thought that the discount sounded like a good idea. Yes, I know. That should be temporary. It is often a matter of just continuing to progress time while letting stuff build in this game until a war actually finally happens, and then exciting stuff happens more turns than not. Oh, Spain appears to be considering a naval rearmament program. The government asks for our advice. We should condemn the adventurous policies of Spain and strengthen our navy. I pick this because I like budget and I like prestige and I want a war with Spain, so. That's a help, yeah. Wow, and it fixed our budget too. Although, to tell you the truth, a war with Spain before these 4 ships are complete would probably not be good, but you kind of just have to take your opportunities when they come, since it's pretty random in this game. I think we have a fighting chance, at least. If war did break out now, I mean... To tell you the truth, it's not a great chance. I think it would basically be... Any points we would score would basically be dependent on us picking off these weaker light cruisers and hoping they don't sink all of our really bad armored cruisers. But that's life. Okay. It's the second time they've told us that, but we haven't actually gotten better new naval guns yet, so we'll see. Okay, this is, again, this obvious lie. Tension with Spain. Well, we do have areas of conflicting interests. What does that even mean? We have... Well, what about the Caribbean? That's such an obvious conflicting interest. They have 3 light cruisers there. Good to know. Yeah, this is the best our intel gets as far as knowing what people have where. Is this sort of guesstimate, and I can pretty much say for a fact that this guesstimate isn't even right, which does happen. Our info in the almanac might not always be 100% correct. It's usually pretty close, but... Oh, speaking of which, I haven't actually put intel up on Spain, which I should. But yeah, it's not always 100% correct. And this intel on the map is definitely not always 100% correct. And it's not there. And oh, wait, no, they finished these 2. Okay, it's correct then. Thought they still only had 2 battleships, but they have 4 now, so that's an issue, really. Yeah, I'm aware, Mr. President, that we have the smallest total tonnage of large cruisers in service or building of all the great powers. Tell that to our budget, would you? We also have the smallest force of battleships, so either more money or deal with it. It seems very realistic, though, for a politician to come and complain about us not having enough ships while not actually providing us the money for said ships. To be fair, our budget has gone up quite a bit since the start. It's bigger than Japan, Spain, and Austria-Hungary's now. Our fleet size just hasn't caught up with our budget yet, which is why we're able to comfortably build 2 battleships and 2 armored cruisers at once. Again, it's not going to change from last month. A new Liberal government wants to reduce arms expenditures. This will spell doom. Yeah, this will spell doom for our naval power. They didn't entirely buy it, I'm pretty sure. Budget still went down a little bit, maybe, but wasn't that bad. Docks, love docks. Shut the hell up. We're working on it. Honestly, how many armored cruisers do they even... I'm just going to keep building docks continuously because 10,000 is still not enough. We need... I'm not going to stop building docks until we have enough to build battleships at home instead of in Great Britain, because that's just humiliating. We actually have 4 armored cruisers. I mean, honestly, that's... Nope, that's the least out of anybody except Japan. And everybody else's are bigger, too. Yeah. Well, 2 months and the Pittsburgh class will be finished. Kwang Chu Wan. I don't want a war with Britain. This really isn't of any concern to us. But I don't think this will cause a war, so let's... Okay, well, they did it anyway. What a surpriser. Okay, then. Is this actually our first tech we've developed? Might be. Our scientists are not doing well. YST engine, 1% weight savings on machinery. Oh, and we've invented the concept of light forces and torpedo warfare. I don't usually rely heavily on those in the Rule the Waves games, but it's kind of important to get somewhat decent destroyers. Especially in the early game when one torpedo can often sink or cripple a battleship completely. So it might be worth taking a chance on putting that on high for a little while. Obviously, if you put too much on high, it just becomes sort of redundant, but okay. One turn, and Huntington and Pittsburgh are completed. Symbolic concessions to Russia? Hell no. Italy and Austria-Hungary have very tense relations. Yeah, that seems accurate. Makes a lot of sense. The Mediterranean... If any of those three powers go to war, they could just rip each... Maybe if they drew Spain in, that would even help us, but... I feel like Spain wouldn't want to go to war with us in that case, so maybe not. Okay, the Pittsburgh class is commissioned and captainless. Yeah, this is much better than our existing cruisers. I think these I'm going to create a division for because I would like them to operate together and not with our other much slower cruisers. Yeah. So just these two add. Okay. Oh, and then it'll need a commander who can be... Well, we've got one. You know, Meade arguably makes more sense, but I think if I swap them around... Oh, no, I can just... Okay, well, he can't be in charge of both. Or apparently he can, but... Okay, so I can make like-for-like swaps, and that doesn't cost me prestige. That's good to know. Although, arguably, demotion from going from a battle division to an armored cruiser division is a demotion, but apparently the game and Rear Admiral Meade don't see it that way. For which I'm glad, because as a speed enthusiast, he should really be with some cruisers or destroyers. Okay, Captain Wainwright here is a torpedo expert, which is impressive considering we don't really have any... When was the Whitehead torpedo even invented? I guess we do have torpedoes on all our ships, but we don't have any destroyers or anything. Yeah, we have submerged tubes on most of our heavy ships. Okay, we are in the green. We're building 3 battleships. I still don't actually... Well, we have shortages of pretty much everything still. We don't have enough armored cruisers. I mean, 6 would be enough if they were all good, but 4 of them being the New York class, not enough. These 2 are good, but everybody else has a lot more light cruisers than that. So I think we need to build more light cruisers. I actually like this class. I don't see the need to design a whole new one immediately, so we're going to build at least one more of these. We can't really afford more than one for now, so we're just going to have to tolerate that. I'd really like... What's the ideal? Spain's got 4,476. Call it the 10-year plan. I'd like about half a dozen battleships, half a dozen armored cruisers, maybe 6 to 10 light cruisers. I think at some point in there we're going to actually invent destroyers, and then we'll have to build some of those too. Oh, yeah. These are actually good ships, so I'd like to give them good captains. out of our list of captains, but it doesn't even... How do I... What's the most appropriate way to sort this? Probably this way. Okay, Captain Barney here is above average, and so is Captain Davis, so they can have them. Assigning you to Pittsburgh. And where'd the other guy go? You to Huntington. Excellent. These armored cruisers are often very important, especially in all the Rule the Waves games, or throughout the whole game. I find heavy cruisers are pretty important because it's actually kind of rare, especially with the geography we have here, where they can't really base. Nobody except Britain can really base their main fleet on our coasts. It's actually kind of unlikely that we'll get a full-scale, like, battleship versus battleship fleet engagement, which makes the cruisers potentially really important in any war we fight. We might have a fleet engagement with Spain in the Caribbean, but other than that, I mean, if we fight Russia or France or something, it'll probably be decided by cruisers mostly. That said, we definitely need some battleships just to make sure we don't get blockaded. Hence the Oklahoma class here. Okay, our cruisers are worked up. That's excellent. This message happens almost every turn for somebody, and I don't understand it because almost everybody is stronger than us. That's interesting. We got one tension with Spain increases for historical enmity message before, and then this. The game must have basically... I wouldn't call it events exactly, but this is basically pushing us to have the historic Spanish-American War at some point, which is fine because I want it to. We should... Kicking Spain out of here is a very logical early objective. Okay, this is the third time I've gotten this message. Not once have we actually gotten better naval guns. But this is good. Telescopic sights for accuracy. Accuracy is really bad in the early game, so anything that can help it out. Okay, we're really close to war with Spain, which is just about fine because our battleships are just about finished. Oh, that's good. I didn't actually know that could happen. I guess that's a reason to build stuff overseas. It's just the risk and the potential. Oh, wow. 2 techs. And easily surpasses her design speed. That's all kinds of fortunate. Well, I don't want to lose prestige, and I don't think we're anywhere near war, so, yeah. Okay, that was a good little windfall with this ship actually teaching us something about British tech. And makes 17 knots instead of 16. So USS Oklahoma hopefully will be pretty good for us. I would say this is a pretty good early pre-dreadnought. She's actually rather fast for this era. This armor is... Historically, it would actually be really thin for 1892. I think the game is showing armor basically as, like, equivalent inches of Krupp cemented, because there was a thing during the 1890s where everyone went from like nickel iron to Harvey compound to Krupp compound, and Krupp gets the same protection as nickel steel for literally like a quarter of the thickness, but it would be really confusing to represent that in game probably. Okay, we have budget again. I'm going to build another light cruiser because I don't even know what the Cincinnati class is. We don't actually have any of those. Or the San Francisco class. Apparently we just get a lot of pre-gens. Okay, well, I'm just going to build another Chicago class because I like the look of it. Alright, new battleship. Needs a captain. I mean, this is the most powerful ship in our fleet, so it should probably have an at least decent captain. I'm going to steal Captain Converse off of New York because I hate the New York class. You get the battleship Oklahoma because you're above average. Jones? Is there anybody below average? Not really. Okay. Jones. You've got 7 years seniority. You get New York. And another battle. Oh, excellent. That's might cause us to go to war. Yeah. Um, so the fact that that bar spiked over the top, I'm pretty sure means when I hit end turn again that we're going to be at war with Spain. It only didn't happen this turn because the event sort of fires after the turn has ticked over and the are we at war calculation has happened. But I'm pretty sure we're functionally at war with Spain now, or we can assume we will be. Which is fine, because that was the plan all along. Slightly unfortunate that our battleships haven't worked up yet. They're poor crew quality still, and we really need to assign them to a division. Second battle division. Yeah, that's what I did with the first one, even though it doesn't make sense. We'll go with it. We're going to add both of these to this. In the game, what this division system is supposed to do is make sure that they actually generate together in battles, which is hopefully works, because an Oklahoma operating with a Michigan would basically be saddled because of this 17 versus 13 knot speed. It would be very annoying to be stuck at 13 knots because of having to go with a Michigan. Okay, who wants command of North Dakota then? Lawrence, you're average. You can have her. This should be good enough. Why is a torpedo expert in charge of Michigan? Whatever. Okay, save. Any other preparations we need before... Oh, I know what preparations we need before we go to war. We need gunnery training, and maybe damage control training. Night fighting and torpedo warfare are pretty much impossible in 1892, so I'm not going to bother checking those. But gunnery training, I find, gives a pretty good bonus, and damage control, I think, is new for Rule the Waves 3, but I'd like to try it out. I don't usually mess with this ammunition doctrine, even though it might be optimal to do so, but... Yeah, annoyingly it takes, or well, annoyingly, but realistically, it takes 12 months for training priorities to actually take effect, but it's pretty expensive to just have it running during peacetime. Technically, optimally, I should probably have ships mothballed during peacetime, but we don't have a big enough fleet to really justify that. I'd rather just have good crew qualities. I should build something, I guess. Probably... What are we worst at compared to Spain? My god, they have 3 more Velasco-class battleships building in Germany. Although they're not due to be finished for 2 years still, but still. Oh, on the other hand, to be fair, this Velasco-class, really thick armor, but only 2 11-inch guns. That's really kind of bad for a battleship, so... them wasting a lot of money on those is not necessarily such a bad thing. Honestly, well, the Fernando the Sevenths, and then out of all their fleet that they're likely to send to America, what I'm most scared of is these Navarra-class cruisers, which are pretty much identical to our Chicago class, I think. And this cruiser with the 8-inch guns, the Infanta Maria Teresa. Although she's a little slower than our Pittsburghs and not as well armored, so we might be alright. How are our ships dispersed? We should probably move everything to the Caribbean, huh? If we really expect to be at war with Spain, I'm going to move at least both the Oklahomas, both Pittsburghs, and all the Chicagos down to the Caribbean. And the 2 Michigans can guard our east coast. Oh, that's interesting. It actually costs... Sorry, something just caught my eye. It costs a small amount of budget to move ships now, which makes a lot of sense, but I don't know that it did that in previous games. Okay, so otherwise we have two armored cruisers. Well, we have all four New York class cruisers in the Pacific, plus a couple of escorts. Spain obviously has a lot of possessions in the Western Pacific, which have one armored cruiser and a couple of corvettes guarding them. I think what we're gonna do, I trust Rochester and New York to fight just any Spanish armored cruiser. 2 7-inch guns, 6 5-inch guns, and these have what? Between the two of them, maybe. If they actually spawned 2v2, or 2v1, then maybe. I'm going to leave them on the west coast for now and see how the war progresses. I do not really trust them, so I am going to build another Pittsburgh class because we are in dire need of more good armored cruisers. That puts us slightly negative, but we're about to get a war budget, I think, so what doesn't have captain assigned? Looks to me like they all have. We don't have 3 rear admirals, so I'm just gonna have to let the game figure that out. Sure. I don't have any. Oh, well, that was fast. I don't think that was a formal alliance I just signed with Italy, so this shouldn't entangle us. But war has broken out between Italy and Austria-Hungary. Now, AI wars are new for 1890, or not for 1892, for Rule the Waves 3, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes for them. We've stolen some Russian blueprints. That's a fairly good armored cruiser. Nothing special. Okay, yeah, we've just stolen a captain off one of our cruisers and promoted him, but I can't do that manually, it doesn't seem like. I just have to let the game figure that out. Who's in charge of Pittsburgh now? No one? No one. Okay. Well, we don't know anything about this guy. Or this guy. But this guy's got seniority, so putting him on Pittsburgh. Worthington. Oh. And we did the thing again where we promoted a guy, and then we also generated a new admiral out of nothing. I'm going to go ahead and put the above average one in charge, because we didn't actually go to war, did we? I just realized that. That's really weird, considering our tension is above the war bar. What am I doing here? I'm putting this guy in charge of this. Oh, I can't do that. Okay. I would have thought a war would have started. Our tension is 12. I'm pretty sure at 10 you go to war. We'll see. Oh. I like these discounts. We can't actually afford it, but we are going to need more light cruisers, so sure. We are due to hold a speech at the annual gathering of the Navy League. What will be the gist of our speed? The sea should be kept peaceful for the prosperity of all nations. Don't like minus budget, tension, prestige. We are prepared to safeguard the interests of our nation against any threat that may arise. The freedom of the seas is threatened by the imperialistic ambitions of Spain. Yes. That had better start a war. That started a war. Huzzah! This isn't military interference in politics or anything. However, we did just start a war with Spain. Okay. Thanks for watching, sailors. I hope you enjoyed the video. New parts should be up daily, or you can watch live on Twitch. If you did enjoy the video, consider leaving a like or subscribing. This is Sea Lord Janda, signing off.